So they can choose to either dribble with the ball, hold the ball, or bounce the ball, which is their piece of treasure. Now they score so many extra bonus points by taking their treasure to a new castle. The guard's job is to try and win that ball. So if they're holding the ball, so say this person's holding the ball safely and they run across, but the guard tags the football safely, the guard now takes the ball, they swap roles, the other person becomes the guard. Same as the game before. Hello, I'm Stacey Miles. I'm an FA Regional Coach Development Officer. This is session 6 of a 6-week session programme. This session programme is aimed at players 7 to 11 years old with the theme of defending to stop goals with a focus on pressing and challenging. So here's our arrival activity for week 6. So as you can see, different shapes and sizes on the floor. These are going to be our castles, okay? Now if you were working with players maybe a little bit older, around 11 and 12, you could choose castles, or depending on the development of your players, it could be football stadiums. So different shapes and sizes, okay? Now those that are in blue on our image here, they're going to have a bib each tucked in like a tail. The yellows, they are the guards. Their role, okay, they do not have a bib. The guards are also not allowed inside the castles. Okay, the aim is for the other players is to see how many castles they can visit, or football stadiums, in an allocated time. So each time they go across to one, they get 1 point. Now they can choose to go to a castle where someone's already there, but we may encourage them, can you try and find a castle when no one's there, to develop their scanning, spatial awareness. So it could be worth more points if they go to one where no one's there, for example. Now, as they're travelling across, so they've got their bib tucked in, the guard's job, they want to try and press, if they can, and get close to the player and win their bib. So pull their bib safely off them. If they do, they then swap roles. So then the player who's lost their bib now becomes the guard, and the player who's now collected the bib puts the bib in, and then they now become one of the players that's trying to visit the amount of castles that they've got. How does the game progress? So instead of now the players that are here in blue, instead of them having a bib, they now have a piece of golden treasure, which is a football. So they can choose to either dribble with the ball, hold the ball, or bounce the ball, which is their piece of treasure. Now they score so many extra bonus points by taking their treasure to a new castle. The guard's job is to try and win that ball. So if they're holding the ball, so say this person's holding the ball safely and they run across, but the guard tags the football safely, the guard now takes the ball, they swap roles, the other person becomes the guard. Same as the game before. If they get across there without getting tagged, they get 1 point if they hold the ball, so they hold and run. If they bounce the ball, depending if your surface that you have your sessions on allows them to bounce it, and they bounce it across without them tagging the ball, the guards tagging the ball, it's worth 3 points, okay? So 1 point holding, 3 points bouncing. But if they choose to dribble the ball on the floor and they get to another castle, so they dribble with their piece of treasure and they get there, it's worth 5 golden points. Okay, so we've done our fun arrival warm-up activity. As you know, this is our week 6. So throughout the weeks, we've done a variety of practices and session and game ideas. So these should be some similar ones that they would have done already, but we're going to give them loads of opportunities just to play lots of small-sided games. So as you can see here, we've got 3 pitches set up. So depending on the format that you play, depending on how many players that you might have, this will depend how many pitches you might have. But we do not, for our small-sided games, want to go above 3v3s for this final festival. So say for example, you as the coach have picked these 3 to play together, these 3. These three. So no more than 3v3. If there's overloads and underloads, not a problem at all. Now, as you can see, pitch 1 here, we've got the reference point of the halfway line. Pitch 2, we've got the 3/3, so 1, 2, 3. And the final pitch, pitch 3 over there, we have got no reference points on the pitch. So throughout a whole week's leading up to our week 6, we should have obviously got opportunities where they should have some good references from different practices that we've done. As the practices go on, the players are playing on these different pitches which have different outcomes. So First practice is the one where if you win the ball back in the other team's half and score, it's worth 3 goals. If you win the ball back in your half and then break to score, it's worth 1. So we're giving the players lots of opportunity. They've done practices leading up to this, where now we're in a festival, a little bit more competition. Can they now apply those trying to win the ball back? So if the Blues got here, can the Yellows win the ball where we can in the opposition half? So whilst that's happening, game 2, it's the game with 5-3 and 1. So for example, if the Yellows win the ball from the Blues in this most defending half here, third, it's worth 5 goals. If they win the ball off the Blues here, if they win the ball off the Blues in the middle, so say the ball's been passed from blue to blue here, but the Yellows jumped in and intercepted it and they break to score, it's worth 3. And if they get the ball all the way to their attacking third, and it's now the Yellows defending third, and they win the ball back within here and break to score, whether it's a pass, they could pass it through, or dribble, it's worth 1. So the more emphasis, 5-3-1. So emphasis on trying to win the ball back highly up the pitch. So you've got the halves, you've got the thirds, both emphasis on winning the ball back high where possible. And then the final game is the golden player game. Okay, so now the golden player game, the players will decide who the golden player is. Now, if say they've picked this player who's got number 3 on their shirt, if the golden player here scores, it's worth 3 goals. If any of the other 2 players score, it's worth 1 goal. So the reason why we've added this in, one, it gives a real emphasis on like stopping and scoring goals. It's really exciting for players. But also it gives a little bit more of a problem solving for the defending team. So if, for example, this player's got on, what changes might that mean for the team defending? Because if they score, it's worth 3 goals, remember. So it gives them lots of problems to solve. So just before the game starts, they have to make the other team aware of who the golden player is. So normally I say, right, 3 seconds, you're going to raise your hand if you're the golden player. And then they all put the hand up really confidently, which is great. And then the other team already have an idea of who it is they want to stop. But remember, the other 2 can still score points. So yeah, that's our festival week. They'll play that, loads of basically small-sided games, should be loads of fun, should be loads of goals, should be loads of wanting to win the ball back. And hopefully across the 6 weeks we've managed to provide opportunities to develop players' confidence, give them opportunities to play within smaller formats, and lots of opportunities just to develop both in football and as a person too. Thanks for watching, and for more session ideas and games, please visit our England Football Learning website and please subscribe to our England Football Learning YouTube channel.